Hi everyone. This weekend in the Premier League, I'm not going to go in order of the games, but I'm just going to talk about the games and what I think will happen going forward for some teams. So, so the most surprising result of the weekend was Nottingham Forest beating Liverpool 1-0. Liverpool lacked any real any real cutting edge. I mean, I just felt Liverpool were really underwhelming, to be honest. And do you know what I think it is? I think it's the fact that they don't replace any of the, like, for example, why is Jay Milner starting right back in 2022? Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I think Jay Milner, if I'm being honest, I think Jay Milner should have been moved on from Liverpool because you've got Jay Milner and Jordan Henderson that do a similar sort of job in terms of what they do for the squad. If I, so basically, my point is, I think the Liverpool squad is aging significantly, and I think in the summer they needed to bring in some fresh blood just to keep it fresh, as I said. And I think after the problem sometimes that managers can become too reliant on players, and I think that's the case with Jurgen Klopp and Jordan Henderson and Jay Milner. But you know what? Fair play to Nottingham Forest. And you never know, maybe Nottingham Forest are going to go on this great run, but I doubt it, to be honest. So, so moving on. Everton beat Palace 3-0. Really good result for Everton. I don't know what it is with Palace. They're just very inconsistent, aren't they? Like, there's some weeks where they can be outstanding, and then there's some weeks where they can be really poor. And I do think Patrick Vieira is a good manager as a whole, but I just think as a team, they're just very inconsistent. And Everton are slowly starting to turn it around. Obviously, when the season first started, I'll be the first one to admit I was saying, why did they keep Lampard in the job? But as of as of late, they've turned it around really well, and the and I never would have dreamed players like Iwobi, like, because obviously when a when Iwobi was at Arsenal, he was very inconsistent. But for Everton, the way he's playing for Everton is really interesting because obviously he's in a new position. So fair play to Iwobi in particular because I've always slated Iwobi, but this season he's been one of the best players for Everton. Obviously, obviously, I I can't really say that, to be honest, because I haven't watched every single game. But from what I have seen of Everton, Iwobi's been a standout. So fair play to him. And as I said, at the start of the season, I was questioning why they kept Frank Lampard. But fair play to them. And if they can finish mid table or like in the top 10, I'm sure certain Everton fans would say we should be finishing in Europe, and maybe should. I don't know, but I don't think you can squander at a top 10 finish when last season you were fighting for safety until the final day. So But anyway, let me know what you think about Everton if you're an Everton fan, or even if you're not. Do you think Everton are gonna get into the top 10? And going back to the Liverpool and Nottingham Forest game, what do you think is wrong with Liverpool? Do you think it's just the case of an aging squad, or do you think there's some other problem that people are not seeing? Because obviously, I don't watch Liverpool every single week. I, I catch the highlights, but I don't watch minute by minute every week. So if you're a Liverpool fan, let me know. Let me know, what do you think is going wrong with Liverpool? So moving on, and I I almost forgot to mention the Man City game. Man City beat Bright, Brighton to 3-2. Haaland scored a brace and Kevin De Bruyne scored a screamer. Who, who, who scored the goal? Who scored for Brighton? That's really going to annoy me because I can't remember what his name is. But I know he's one of the best players for Brighton, but I don't know what his name is. What the fuck is his name? Anyway, let me know down below what was the Brighton players' name that scored to make it 3-1. Standard performance by City, and yeah, they're just 3 points behind Arsenal. I think they're like 3 points, or it might be, actually I don't remember. It might be 3, it might be 4. But what I'm saying is, it's definitely close. I think ultimately City will have enough to overtake Arsenal. Because as I'm about to mention, Arsenal drew 1-1 with Southampton, and for like the first half, Arsenal created so many chances that they just didn't finish. And towards the second half, Arsenal tired, so and then Southampton were able to make it 1-1. And I just think with the Europa League and with the small squad that Arsenal have, when you compare it to Man City, I was gonna say when you compare it to Man City, but I don't think that's fair. But you know what I mean. Like in terms of title contenders, I think they need to have a big squad in order to handle challenging for the league and Europe, even if it is just the Europa League. And you can tell that some of the Arsenal players, when it comes to the weekend, they're they're exhausted. I know people are going to say, well, they're professional footballers, they should be able to play 2 games in a week, but but, but I don't think it's that easy, to be honest. So as I said, I think Arsenal will eventually slip away. I don't think it'll be a case of where they drop out the top 4. I definitely think they'll get into the top 4, but I don't think they'll win the league. I think they could finish second, but I just think Man City, when it comes to like when it comes to like your Februarys and Marches, it will be too much for Arsenal, and then City normally turn it on, and they normally win 8 games in a row, and then they normally win the league. but obviously, I could be wrong. Arsenal could go on an amazing run after the World Cup, and then they could win the league. And if they do that, then great, marvelous, well done. I was wrong. You're the champions. But I would be lying to myself if I said I believe that they're going to win the league. And I know people and I know people are unfairly not giving Arsenal any plaudits. I'll be the first one to say they've been great this season. They've been performing tremendously. But I would be lying if I said I didn't have any concerns. But anyway, moving on. Leicester beat Wolves 4-0. 4-0. Leicester are turning it on at the moment. The goalkeeper looked like he'd finally settled, and everything seems to be going right for Leicester at the moment. They won in the week against Leeds, and they beat Wolves 4-0. And obviously, when you when you when you when you when you're at the bottom of the league, you need to beat the people around you more than you need to beat the team at the top of the table. Obviously, it's nice to beat the teams at the top of the table, but you need to beat the teams around you, and that's what Leicester are doing. And you never know, maybe Leicester could finish 11th or 10th. Who knows? And I would say, considering where they were, I would say that's a good season for Leicester when you compare it to where they were a couple of weeks ago. If they finish in top 10, I know people are going to say, well, a couple of seasons ago they were challenging for Europe. I understand that, but as I said, when you compare it to where they started the season, if they can finish it in the top 10, I would say that's a good season for what it could have been. I'm sure people are going to tell me that I'm talking shit, but you know what I mean. Like, obviously, it's not going to be as luxurious as Leicester have been in the past couple of years, challenging for Europe and top four. But I would rather be in 10th than be at the bottom of the table and relegated. You know what I mean? So yeah. Oh, actually, I'm going to say that to the end. I'm going to go back to the Chelsea Man United game. I'm going to say that to the end. So, Aston Villa beat Brentford 4-0, and it was one of the best performances I've seen from the Villa in a good couple in a good, let's say this, since Gerrard was manager. That's the best. No, what I'm trying to say, since that was the best performance I've seen in a long time. It's funny how as soon as the manager goes, they start playing well. They start playing well, isn't it? It's almost like they didn't like the manager. Honestly, I've never seen the Villa play that way in a while. They were just so fluid, and they were just so fast, and they were just what they just wanted to destroy Brentford, and that's what they did. And we all know Brentford is not an easy side, but the way the Villa played all game, all game, they completely annihilated Brentford. Honestly, as I said, that was the best performance I've seen in a while. And fair play to the Villa. And it was announced today that Unai Emery's going to be taking over as head coach. I know a lot of people out there thoughts on Unai Emery, because how it ended at Arsenal and how it ended at PSG. But I think Unai Emery would be a good manager for the Villa, because I think he could get them into the Conference League and and maybe the Europa League. Obviously for this season, I think the priority has to be top 9 or top 8 at least. But I think eventually, I think he could turn the Villa into a good European side. Again, as I say, he always competes in the Europa League, and he's won it 4 times. So he's obviously not a crap manager, but obviously if you only watched him from the Arsenal days, and you would think that he's crap, but we all know he's not. But anyway, would he have been my first choice? I don't, probably not. I probably would have preferred I probably would have preferred Partridge, if I'm being honest, in just just for the football aspect. But I don't think Unai Emery's going to be terrible. Yes, he's a bit more. He's a bit more. I can't, from what from what I can remember about Unai Emery, I don't think he's going to be like fast flowing or anything like that. But I do think he will turn the Villa into a good footballing side, and I can see some people finding his style really boring, from what I can remember. But I think long term it'd be good for the Villa. So let me know what you think about Unai Emery becoming Aston Villa head coach. Just a quick side note, it always worried me when they say head coach. Did that mean what? Did that mean he's going to be able to get the people that he wants into the club, or is he just going to be giving players? That's always a concern of mine when they say head coach. But maybe I'm overthinking it. So moving on. Fulham Fulham beat Leeds 3-2. Good result for Fulham, and I think this is the best Fulham looked. I think this is the best Fulham have looked in the Premier League in years. Because the last times they came up, they got annihilated every single week, and you could tell some of the players did not believe did not believe in themselves. But with this team, obviously Silva's a good manager, but I also think they've got some good quality players as well. Obviously, they bought Willian. He's been a good signing so far. They got Mitrovic, and they've just got a load of quality players. And I know they had quality players last time they came off, from what I can remember. But I didn't believe at the time. I wouldn't say they had a good manager, because they had, obviously last time they had Scott Parker, and I just don't think Scott Parker's a good Premier League manager. So moving on, good result. As I said, good result for Fulham, and another bad result for Leeds. To be honest, I can see Leeds bringing in somebody else. I just don't think it's working with Leeds at the moment. They just seem very very easily beaten a lot of the time, and they just don't really play. They just don't really play any real good football. And I just think let me tell you what it is. I just think with Leeds, they need to go back to the basics, to be honest. And but let me know what you think about Leeds down below. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I had a brain fart. But anyway, Spurs versus Newcastle. Spurs won the game 2-0. No, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? Newcastle won the game 2-0. And to be honest, Newcastle were the better side. The problem is with Spurs here, they don't really create anything. It just like, for me, it's just too slow. And by the time they get the ball, they allow the opposition to get back into position, and they just don't create anything with any real cutting edge. And obviously, I know Conte like to play slow build up, but I just think he gives too much time for the opposition to get back into position. And I know I know they got some decent players that can play dynamic football, but they just don't play dynamic football enough. And yes, you can have the best strikers in the world, but if you don't play the ball at a relatively good, what I'm trying, I don't wanna, what I'm trying to say is, I understand playing slow build up, but there's also a difference between playing slow build up and being tactical with it, and just playing slow build up and not really doing anything with it. And I think sometimes Spurs can fall into the second category where they have loads of where they sometimes have loads of the ball, but they don't really create anything. And when they get a goal, I know they didn't get a goal today. Well, not today, but I know they didn't get a goal in this game. But what I'm saying is, when they do get a goal, they don't really go for more. Like, they just sit back and defend. And as I'm trying to say, they just don't create very much, to be honest. And when they do score, it feels like every single time it's against the run of play. And I know that's Conte's style, but I just don't think it works for Spurs. But let me know what you think. Am I wrong? Am I right? Obviously, Conte knows more about football than I do, but I just feel like Spurs don't really create very much, to be honest. And as I said, you can have the best strikers in the world, but if you don't create very much, then you're not really going to do anything, are you? So, let me know what you think about Spurs. Uh, so so going back to Saturday, Man United versus Chelsea. I think it was the right result. 1-1 draw, because I felt like in the first half, Man United were the better side, and even in the second half, I felt Man United were the better side, if I'm being honest. But I can understand why they gave that as a penalty. Let's be honest, if you're in the box and you're grabbing a hold of somebody and then they go down, the referee had no choice but to give a penalty, is it a soft penalty? Yes. But is it a penalty? Yes. See, so if you're a Man United fan, I can't see how you can complain. Because if it went down in Man United's box, you would have claimed for it anyway. Like any team would have claimed a penalty for that. Like in the Villa game, I can't remember who it was, but somebody had a hold of Mings shirt, and then he went down, and it was a penalty. Now whether it's soft penalty, yes, but you can't grab people's shirts and you can't grab people around the body, and then they go down and then not give a penalty. Like me, I don't know what Mick Romney was doing there. It was just a stupid decision by Mick Romney. I could never say his name properly, but 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 then Man United go down the other end, and Casemiro is able to get a head on it, and it comes off. First of all, Kepa saved the original shot, but he saved it onto the post, and then it comes off the post, and somehow Casemiro puts his head on it, and then it goes over the line clearly, and then it's 1-1. But then after the game, they get into the whole Ronaldo debate. And to be honest, all I'm going to say is I'm not surprised by what Roy Keane said, and I'm not surprised by what Gary Neville said either. I think Roy Keane were talking crap for, for most of it. What I will say is the one thing that Roy Keane said that I agree with. He said that Man United don't score enough goals, and they don't. But I really don't think if Ronaldo was on the pitch, that would make it any better. If anything, I think that would make them worse because they would have to play slower, and maybe Ronaldo would get a couple more chances that he would put away. Because I do think even at this point in his career, Ronaldo's a better finisher than Rashford. But as a football team, and with the way Man United want to play, I think Rashford helps that more. And it really pissed me off when Roy Keane said, well, if he hasn't had a pre-season, how can he be up to speed? But the reason why he didn't have a pre-season is because Ronaldo didn't go because he wanted to move. That's the reason why he didn't go to pre-season, allegedly. So I think Roy Keane's just protecting his mate, to be honest. And I do think Gary Neville made some good points, but do I think Gary Neville made them because he truly believes them? Or do I think Gary Neville would just trying to play the popular opinion? I think Gary Neville sometimes can just say stuff because he knows it's the popular opinion. And do I think Gary Neville believes some of the stuff? Do I think he genuinely believes some of the stuff that he said? Yes, but I do think some of it we just said because he knows that's what that's what that's what a lot of the people are saying. And you know what Gary Neville can sometimes be like. I think this is a whole other topic for another time. But as I said, as I said, I don't even know why they did the Ronaldo debate. To be honest, and I know why they did it. Of course, I didn't mean I apologise for rambling. What I'm trying to say is it was a stupid debate to have because it happened. And what is the point in debate? What is the point in debating it at this point? Like, what's it going to achieve? Nothing. Like, I understand they were trying to make content, but the way they had a video all set up for it before they talked about it, I just thought, come on, can we talk about the game, please? But let me know what you think about Ronaldo. If you have any more opinions, I did make a video. I did make a video on Ronaldo and the whole situation. So if you want to go near my thoughts, then go and watch that video. It's basically called Ronaldo walking out of Old Trafford or whatever it. Yeah, that was the video title. So go and check it out. So yeah, as I said, it was probably the right result for the game, to be honest. Because as I said, yes, Man United were the better side in terms of the overall game. But if you're going to be that stupid to put your arms around somebody when they're in the box, then you deserve to concede a goal. I'm sorry, you do. And the way Man United were able to come back, get a draw, I I thought it showed a lot of character, to be honest, and it was just an okay game. So and then yesterday we had West Ham versus Bournemouth. West Ham won the game 2-0, and the first goal was very controversial. And in the build up, they went to VAR for handball, and they calm down. In their first goal, there was a question of handball in the build up. They went to VAR. And they gave the goal anyway from the cat kicker Zuma, the absolute twat. So and then for West Ham's second goal, basically one of the West Ham players had it down the wing, and then one of the Bournemouth players slid in to try and get the ball, but as he slid in, the ball hit his hand, so it was given as handball, and it was given as a penalty. Now, the reason why I say this was not a penalty is because the way it was positioned, I can't see how the Bournemouth player could have moved his hand out the way, because he was too close. He was way too close to move his hand out the way. And obviously, when you're sliding in, you can't naturally your arms are gonna come up when you're sliding in to a challenge. Just naturally, your arms are gonna come up. So I just thought it was a bit unfair, to be honest. But they went to VAR and they gave it as a penalty. As I always say, sometimes, a lot of the time, I think VAR, I think VAR is a load of crap, because whether you have the technology or not, you still have the same referees controlling the technology. The problem with VAR VAR is not the actual technology, it's the people running the technology. That's why people don't like VAR, and also it takes too long on the game. But anyway, that's a whole another topic for another day. So I would say the most surprising result of the weekend was obviously Nottingham Forest, and I think when it comes to the surprise packages of the season, I would have to say it's either got to be Newcastle, Newcastle, or or Fulham. The reason why I would say Newcastle is because nobody expected them to be in the top four this season at all. At all, people would have said top eight easily, but not top four. But the way Eddie Howe's got them playing, I'm not surprised. By the way that they're playing, I would not be surprised if they ended up in the top four come the end of the season if they carry on playing the way they're playing at the moment. But obviously, there's a long way to go. But I can definitely see them finishing in the top six, definitely, or at least the top seven, at least. So yeah, and in hindsight, I wish Eddie Howe would have went to the Villa rather than Gerrard. In hindsight, but obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing. So 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 let me know what you think about all of the games, and thank you for watching. And I apologise that it went so long, and thank you for the support. Whether you like my MMA content or my football content or whatever else I make, thank you for the support, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you very much.